What is up, gamers? Welcome back to Mario Kart Wii. Last time we did the second part of time trials. Today we will be finishing them off, so let's jump right into it. Alright, starting off we have N64 Sherbet Land. And by the way, I will also be putting timestamps for all of the courses covered in this video in the video description. And I'll probably also put a little asterisk next to the courses where I beat the expert staff ghosts. So all of these time trials are fast enough to unlock the fast staff ghosts. Most of them will be faster than the expert staff ghosts, but not all of them. Because as I went along, I started to get more serious with doing the time trials and trying to get good times. And I also went back on the previous time trials to try to get better times and to put myself more on pace with the fast staff ghosts. But anyway, oh yeah, so I should also mention that some of these time trials I didn't record live. So for example, this one is a recording of the replay. Some of the other clips will be taken from a stream, so the quality might not be as good, so I apologize for that, but at least we can see all of the time trials. Yeah, so I guess I should first explain where I've been. So the last video upload on my channel was 7 months ago, and so what I've been doing since then really it's just I've been busy with school. So 7 months ago would have been like around June of 2020, which was right when summer vacation started. So I should have made more videos, but I think I just got I lost the motivation, and I was stuck. Even though I was stuck inside all day because of the pandemic, I just didn't feel like making and uploading videos. And in July, I think I started taking an online course, so that's kind of sucked up all my time. So the last videos I was making were all League of Legends videos, so I figured I should probably just give a quick update. By the time I'm uploading this, season 11 has already started, but I did end season 10 in gold. A nice gold 4-0 OP like always. And I played less than 50 games, which was my goal, so pretty happy with that. And I know the original series was meant for me to upload all 10 of the provisionals, but I stopped around like 6 or 7 games in because I ran into some copyright issues with the videos. And YouTube has a built-in like a music removal tool, so I applied that to all the videos, but they're all unlisted for now because I didn't feel like releasing them. So I'll probably keep them unlisted, but I'll put the video link in the description in case anybody wants to see some old season 10 top lane. But yeah, so moving on, this is GBA Shy Guy Beach. This time trial I was pretty slow on. I didn't really like take that long to like try to optimize the pathing. The Magic Cruiser lets you wheelie while you're in the water without losing too much speed, which is nice. And that's how you kind of get away with cutting all these corners, because normally the light blue water even slows you down quite a bit, so you want to avoid it. But with the Magic Cruiser, since its off-road stats so good, you can go onto the water. But going back to what I've been doing this whole time, I actually I have like a notepad with talking points because this is going to be quite a long video, so I figured I'd just talk about some random stuff. So for quarantine summer vacation, it was really boring. We didn't really manage to do much because of not wanting to catch COVID, obviously. So kind of just sat around doing nothing, playing a lot of games. I played through like the entire Phoenix Wright trilogy. Well, I played most of the first game already a few years ago, but I still had to play the DS exclusive case. So I started there, and then I played Justice for All and Trials and Tribulations, and then Apollo Justice, and they're all super great games. Had a ton of fun playing them. Highly recommend. And just going back to the time trial right now. So this is Delfino Plaza or Delfino Square, I think, from DS. This was the first course that I took more seriously with the time, and it took me so long to get a run that I was happy with, because there's a lot of turns where you can get away with getting a golden turbo boost, but it requires some pretty unforgiving timing. So for example, this one, you have to start drifting really early to get the golden in order to get the golden for this turn and not hitting the wall. So same thing right here, especially this one, because if you started too soon and you don't have the right angle, you'll go straight into the wall. You see, you have to hop to try to go back straight and avoid the wall. So it was just really fatiguing doing, like, I don't know how many runs I did, but I probably spent like over 3 hours on just trying to get a good lap for this course. And even then, it wasn't perfect. I think in the last lap I clipped the grass at the very end. Probably lost like 1/10 of a second or something. But yeah, so besides Ace Attorney, let me look at what else other games I played. Oh yeah, I finished Final Fantasy IV for the DS. Final Fantasy IV was a hard game, because if you guys are familiar with Final Fantasy games, especially 4 through 7, you know the ATB system, which is, even though it's turn-based combat, like each character you have to wait for their bar to charge up before you can do a turn, basically. And in most games, it's just as soon as the bar fills up, then you can execute your move. But in Final Fantasy IV, you have to wait for your turn to come, and you also have to wait for your move to charge. So you have to wait like 5 seconds. Sorry. So like if you're playing a mage, it's super annoying because the magic has a really long charge time. So like if you want to use white magic to heal your party, you have to wait for your turn to come, and then after you select the cure spell, you have to wait for the cure to charge. And like during that time, the enemies can still attack, and it's just like during that waiting time, like if your character falls down and you're still trying to channel your heal, it's such a disaster, and that made the game really tricky. But I followed a walkthrough for that game to get through it, or not to get through it, but to, like, I don't know. I feel like with Final Fantasy games, it's like you kind of play it in semi-completionist mode, where you don't want to miss anything, you don't want to miss any chests with gear in it and stuff. So kind of just stuck to the IGN walkthrough. But it's still a really fun game. Probably the most difficult Final Fantasy game. Yeah, besides that, I also played a lot of Final Fantasy 15 for the PC. Very different kind of Final Fantasy game compared to 4, but still lots of fun. And besides that, I also, near the end of summer vacation, I got super into to Formula 1. I don't really know exactly how. I just probably got a YouTube recommendation for a race highlight or something, and from then on I was hooked. You know, I was like looking up every single driver and reading about the history and stuff like that. It's just like, and then once the season started, oh, you know what it was? I saw a Reddit post from like the streaming when like Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon and stuff were streaming, and with Leclerc in a banana costume. I thought it was so funny, and so I think I watched some of the VODs, and I thought it was cool. So then I got into it from there. But yeah, once the season started, it was fun to wake up early on the weekends to catch races and stuff. Yeah, so that was most of the summer. Obviously, the F1 season started during the fall. So for the fall semester of school, I was actually back on campus. So we actually we're supposed to be on campus, right? But like, oh yeah, here we unlocked the Sprinter medium cart. Sounds like a Formula One car. Speaking of Formula One, but yeah, so for fall semester, we would be back on campus with COVID safety precautions and stuff. But what ended up happening was that even though I signed up for all in-person classes, all of the almost all of the classes that I had, the professors decided to move them online. So it was kind of awkward where I was in a dorm and just like on Zoom calls, or not even Zoom calls, because the classes weren't synchronous, they were all asynchronous. So I'd just be in my dorm watching lecture videos instead of being able to go into the classroom to learn in person, which kind of sucked, because I think it's a lot easier to learn if you're in a live lecture in the classroom and the teacher's like writing the notes as he's telling them, basically. I think that's the easiest way to learn, and watching videos and trying to discipline yourself to not get distracted while watching the lecture videos is really difficult, and it was pretty draining because we didn't have a Thanksgiving break, so our semester was kind of condensed. We didn't have any breaks or anything, so we all got sent home before Thanksgiving, and then after Thanksgiving we had like a dead week, which is a week before, which is like an empty week before finals, and the finals happened remotely. So I just stayed basically like we got an extended break for Thanksgiving and winter combined, but we still had to take finals at home, so that kind of sucked, and I choked my physics finals. It kind of tanked my grade, which I'm kind of bummed about, but it shouldn't matter too much in the long run. Yeah, so fall semester was kind of uneventful because I couldn't really do anything because of COVID restrictions, and yeah, it just kind of sucked. But looking forward, I'm recording this like a week before leaving for spring semester, so hopefully spring will be more eventful, and hopefully I'll have more classes in person. So far I already know that 2 of my 4 classes are going to be all remotes, which already sucks, and I'm suspecting another one will be also remote. And just a quick thing about summer plans. So I've been looking for internships, but not really successful. I got one like behavioral interview, and that didn't go through, and I got another higher view. I haven't heard anything back yet, so I'm still trying to think of what I'm gonna do for the summer, because I think just doing nothing over the summer is probably the worst way to spend it, because I need to do something. So I might look into trying to join a professor for research, but I'm not sure what the process for that is like. Yeah, so there's a lot of uncertainty, and I'm kind of it's kind of stressing me out, because I don't really know what the future holds in store, and I feel like COVID has made everything so difficult, because there's like almost no flexibility anymore. Like, if I didn't have anything lined up, then I could have just gone on vacation or something, but there's no opportunity to go on vacation with the pandemic going on, so that just really blows. Yeah, so oh yeah, I should also mention, during the fall semester my computer had a meltdown. I don't know what happened. It was super annoying. So like Windows, in the Windows update section of the settings, they had like a section for optional updates, which included driver updates, and Windows listed a driver update for my keyboard. So I was like, okay, I'll download it, see what happens. And as it's installing, my computer just blue screens, and I go to restart it, and it blue screens again without even finishing its boot up, and just a constant loop of blue screens. I couldn't even boot into safe mode. And the the blue screen never even lasted long enough for me to scan the QR code, which was super annoying. So I couldn't even diagnose like what was going wrong. Looking back, I could have tried to reseat my memory because I didn't do that. I ended up reinstalling Windows, which was super annoying because I had to reinstall all my programs and reconfigure everything. Luckily, when you do that, luckily I actually I upgraded Windows from like 1903 to 20H2 like a week before this happened. So when I reset Windows, I was able to keep all my documents, and I was also able to keep my Windows.old folder, which had all of the app data, which meant that I thought I had lost like all my Minecraft saves, all my screenshots, all my emulator stuff, but luckily it all saved over, which was a huge relief because I didn't have it backed up, which is kind of silly, and I still don't have it backed up because I don't really know where to back it up to. I don't have a external hard drive. Maybe I should spend some money on an external hard drive, but anyway, so yeah, so my computer had a meltdown where I had to reset it. So this is actually the first video that I'm editing on it, and DaVinci Resolve, which is the program I use, has been giving me some trouble. I tried to basically just watch through the timeline and do a post commentary that way, but as I was doing that, once I got to DK Jungle Parkway, which is Discourse, the program just crashed, and I went back and opened it up, and I started watching again. And as soon as it hit DK Jungle Parkway, it crashed again. So I don't really know what's going on. So I just I've had a makeshift solution where I just rendered out the entire video with no commentary, and I'm just watching it again, which is probably works out better because if I'm just watching an MP4 file, there's just really no risk of it crashing. So yes, this is DK Jungle Parkway. I tried for a really long time to try to get like a shortcut near the end section, but it failed. So I just made do with where I use my mushroom now, which is gotta wait a few seconds to get there. But I think this is one of the courses I did on stream. Yeah, so going up here. Before I tried to use the mushroom up this hill to the left to try to cut this turn, but it didn't work out because I didn't have the angle to finish the turn when you mushroom up. So I just ended up using the mushroom there to boost myself out of the turn, which I think worked out well. I think this was one of the courses where I was faster than the Staff Coast. Yeah, so moving on, this is Mario Raceway from Double Dash. This one was also a little tricky because I wanted to get the golden here and then link up this drift so I could use my mushroom to cut this without losing all my speed so that my drift wouldn't finish. So you have to basically start the second drift early so that your car ends up on the right side of the first tree. So I'll wait for the lap to finish and show it again. Yeah, besides that, it's pretty simple. You just gotta, on the standing section, just to make sure you have the right trajectory so you don't end up in the grass. Yeah, so you have to start this drift early, right? End up on the right side of the tree, and use mushroom to cut. So that's basically what I do. Yeah, so what other stuff to talk about? I guess I could talk about more F1. So the season started like sometime close to when school semester started, but I didn't have an F1 TV Pro subscription, so I was just watching race highlights. And I got a subscription somewhere around the I think it was right after Monza, where Gasly won. That was super crazy. So after that, I tried to wake up early as possible to watch the races, but honestly, like waking up early is difficult, and since all my classes were asynchronous, I didn't have to wake up that early anyway during the week, so I missed a lot of qualies. But I did try to wake up early on were the races on Sunday? Yeah, the races were on Sunday, right? So yeah, so I tried to wake up early on Sundays to catch the races. I remember watching Turkey live. That was a cool race, but I was so sad when both Red Bulls spun out, letting Hamilton win. Being unfortunate. And then once I was home for Thanksgiving, I remember it was Bahrain, right? I put it on the TV, and as I was like trying to like set it up, the crash with Grosjean happened, and I was like freaking out, because I think it was like I was showing my parents, you know, like the F1 race and stuff, and so for something like that to happen, as I'm like showing it on the family TV, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, and so moving back to the time trial, Mario Circuit 3 has like a built-in shortcut basically where there's an opening in the wall where you can cut the final. I guess you could call it a chicane, right? You can cut the final chicane, but I actually I don't use my mushroom there. I use my mushroom a bit earlier, I think. Because I use it right here to cut this corner, and instead of taking the shortcut to the left, I just go around, because you can get a mini boost. Kind of nullifies it, I think, and the time I got pretty decent. Yeah, so more about F1. Obviously, Mercedes won the championship. Lewis Hamilton won the drivers for the 7th time, and I really hope that next season, the entire season is more competitive, because even though the midfield was pretty exciting, it was just like you already knew that Mercedes was gonna win, and I feel like my first season, my favorite team was Red Bull, so even though they were second, them being so far off was just kind of demoralizing, because that's who I was keeping track of, right? So, but next year I might follow McLaren more closely, because I really like Ricciardo. I think he's a funny guy, and I think the move to McLaren will be interesting, because obviously McLaren will have Mercedes engines, and they finished 3rd in the standings this year, so we'll see what the Mercedes engines will do for them. But I'm trying to think now, but that means that Renault is the only team that has Renault engines now, which is kind of weird, because obviously Red Bull and AlphaTauri have Honda engines, and everybody else has a Mercedes or a Ferrari engine. So I also hope that Ferrari is more competitive, because them being in 6th place was, while it was funny, it was also, I don't think it was great for competition, because like even though McLaren were 3rd, I don't think they could really compete with the Red Bull. So there needs to be somebody to compete with Red Bull and Mercedes, for it to be more interesting. And I hope that I've heard news that Mercedes will be more technically partnered with Williams, and that Ferrari will be more technically partnered with Haas. So hopefully that means that the back markers will also be more competitive, and it'll bring the field closer, because ultimately you want all 10 teams to be competitive for the sport to be the most fun to watch and the most enjoyable. So I think that's what everybody's hoping for. But yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about F1. I'm still new to it, but it's really fun to follow, so I say give it a chance. All of the race highlights are free on YouTube, and they're well edited, and the community is really fun too. So, or I don't know if fun's the right word, but I think they're funny. That's what I'm trying to say. They have some good jokes and stuff. So moving on to the time trial, this is DK Mountain from Double Dash. This course has a pretty well-known cut near the end with the hairpin turns. And I was thinking while I was doing this, the cut that you do is so similar to the move that the MR2 driver does in the third stage of Initial D, where during the hairpins of the course, he jumps down from the turn instead of actually doing the hairpins. So yeah, what I did, I didn't really look up speedruns for this, but what I did, I just as soon as you exit the turn with the rolling down boulders, I just hold down the brake and then wait until my car stops so I can do a burnout into the to cross the gorge basically. So I'll wait for the for my cart to get there before I say it again. Yeah, this course was kind of annoying too, because every time I tried to do it, it was like it's annoying to get the drift angles right, so you don't end up in a wall or whatever. Yeah, so you have to go wide on this turn, and then this is the last one. So I release the turbo, I hold brake, wait for my car to stop, do a burnout, cross the gorge, right? And so while I'm holding brake, it's really annoying, because you can't hold brake and accelerate at the same time to start it. You have to let go of accelerate, and if you press down A too quickly, then you start moving again and you won't do a burnout. So I did that a lot, which meant I had to restart because I would waste too much time trying to start a burnout. But in the end, this time was fast enough to beat the Expert Staff Ghost, which is all I really care about. Or not really care about, but it's like that's what my goal was, basically. So that was a close call with the boulder right there. Yeah, and I hit the wall there too, which is not ideal. And it took me a bit to start the burnout right there as well. And I don't know if I cut it so you can see the lap times, but you'll probably see that lap 3 was a bit slower than lap 1 and 2, so not too consistent there, but still pretty fast laps. And then this will be the final course in the for this episode, which is N64 Bowser Castle. I spent a good chunk of time figuring out the route for this course too, because I used the mushroom to cut that turn, to cut turn 1 there, which and I'm pretty sure the thwomps actually run on like a set cycle, so the timing for where the thwomps are going to be is different than if you didn't cut. So I was going back and forth between which ones to cut and which turns to cut or which ones not to cut. Because I watched the world record run for this, where obviously it was a Funky Kong one on the Flame Runner, and so basically what he would do is at this jump up here, he would go to the right and land on the wall, the raised wall on the right side, so that you can cut the tower right here, and then he would start a drift to go straight onto here. But the problem is, since I'm using the Sneakster doesn't have as great of a drift, so I couldn't make the final turn if I tried to ride the wall, and it was also tricky to get the bike in a position to land on the wall reliably. So I ended up scrapping that strat and just cutting turn 1 with the mushroom instead, which meant that I had to relearn the timings and the positioning of the thwomps. So that was a bit annoying, but ultimately, N64 Bowser Castle, if you don't try to ride the wall, it's actually a pretty easy course. You just gotta be careful of the thwomps, obviously, but that's about it. It's a really wide course too when they remastered it for this game, so it's not too hard. I guess the only tricky part is making the 90-degree turns while you're inside the castle, because especially on the Sneakster, which doesn't have that great of a drift, even though it's inside drifting, the drift isn't that great. So you just gotta start your drifts early so you can make the 90 degrees. especially the one coming up here, because you have to position yourself so you don't get squished by the thwomp while also making the turn. This one as well, since the thwomps are moving, but Inside Drift saves the day again. Yeah, and we're going to finish. Yeah, so looking forward, after I finish this, after I upload this time trial video, we just have a few more cups to go through in mirror mode, and then that should be enough to unlock the remaining characters. I still have one more time trial I need to do once I unlock the rest of the characters, and then that will finish this Mario Kart Wii playthrough. So thanks guys for watching this video, and I will see you when we do go back to mirror mode. Yep.